taps are running dry in Port Alfred and surrounding areas. A lot of communities, they rely on water tanks. But residents say that they often arrive late with insufficient water. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is there this afternoon finding out the full picture ahead of Monday's local government elections. Let's take you live there now to speak to Aviwe Mtila. Aviwe, good afternoon. You are down there in Port Alfred. Can you just tell us what are you seeing water-wise?
Well, day zero around Port Alfred has been happening for the last 2 years. Yeah, taps have run dry. In fact, but then a familiar sight that you'll get used to is my colleague Lingam Damami trying to show you those ladies walking down with water cannons this very moment as they're trying to scramble and source water from wherever they are. This very moment, there's a water tanker behind us. We understand it's a communal water tanker used for community members. This whole street, depending on this one tank. And in fact, we understand there's no water and the community members have already lined up their buckets just inside this yard so that when the water eventually does come here, the water tankers fill them up, they'll be able to access this water. But I want to catch up with one of the community members to find out the situation on the ground. Baba Patrick, thank you for joining us at ENC.
Thank you.
And how long has it been since you haven't had running water?
Last year, lonyaka phele amanzi bengekho apha okokoko lonyaka pheleyo amanzi engekho ngoNovember ngoko. Tuthi lonyaka kangasibe nawo amanzi tu odwa phela unyaka singenamanzi tu. And then lamanzi ba ngoko even from the week kangasibe nawo amanzi uqala ngomvulo. Asinamanzi tu abantwana besikolo ilantuka iinform sizazivasa kanjani nxa bangasithumela amanzi. Yabo so kunzima kakhulu. Bayasichana kakhulu ngabantu ngamanzi and then lamanzi basiphathela wona awekho right lamanzi la. Bawaphekile uyapheka anento emhlophe erongo yabo ba mhlawumbe wenza iti fumanisa iti yakhona ayitasting ngendlela eright yabo lento le so ayas-affecta la manzi la yabo awekhona ngoku mosanithi yabo asinawo ngoku amanzi apha ngaphelile.
Baba Patrick Shotana trying to show us that this tank here doesn't have water this very moment. It hasn't had for the whole week. So they now supplied by water tankers that travel around the township and Port Alfred as a whole, trying to fill up the water tankers. But this water tanker doesn't have water. Uthini umasipala ke ngicela naye ngezinto. Wesiyovotwa ngoku uthini?
Bathi no bazasiphathela amanzi masingangxami but bona abanangxaki because banamanzi baneetenki zabo phaa ezindlini zabo thina sinazo iitenki sibhilonga kwezitenki zakulamanzi la basiphathela wona so iyasibetha kakhulu loo nto leyo because alamanzi aphathela wona amdaka yabo afuna ukuklina lamanzi angamanzi asihealthy la abafaki nee-chemicals just ubulala intsholongwane yabona loo nto isuppose babawatrita la manzi basinika wona abawatriti nowatrita nothing la manzi la so basinika nje amanzi masisele because bona bakhathali into abayileqa ivote qha yabo it's not good bawuleqa ivote ube uyazi abantu bakhathalele ngala mini yevote. That is not right yabo basibhisa kakubi ngalo hlobo.
Patrick Shotana is a community resident here that supplied water by this water tanker. In his own house, he says he hasn't had water from the taps since last year, November. One of many of the residents that are fairly facing the similar fate. But now what the municipality has done is gone out with water tankers trying to fill up these water tanks that are supplied, maybe one in each road. But as you can see, this one doesn't have water this very moment. And they're saying that while there are promises that this issue will be resolved, the reality on the ground is that they don't have water. They haven't had, for example, this last week. And in the Auditor General report, it suggested that here in Port Alfred, there hasn't, the water supply, 50% of it has been wasted, lost around 27 million rand that's gone to waste while the community needs the water on the ground.
Yeah, and also they're highlighting the fact of the quality of the water. They say there's a bad quality of the water. It's got some white liquid in it, and it doesn't taste well when you make tea. So it's not just a lack of the water. That water, according to that resident you spoke to now, might not be even healthy, and they're very worried about its quality as well. Thank you very much, Aviwe Mtila there in Port Alfred. Now, another city that's battling water shortage is Mahikeng in the northwest. Some villagers, they haven't had running water for more than 3 years. They say they've completely lost faith in government, and yet they're expected to cast their vote come Monday. Reporter Manqoba Mchunu is in the Mahikeng and is joining us now live from this afternoon on ENCA DSTV channel 403. Manqoba, another town. Mahikeng is a big town. I mean, it's the capital there of the Northwest Province. But I can see those Jojo tanks behind you tell a story just by looking at them.
Indeed, Praten, and in fact, we have seen quite a number of households. I can tell you that almost every household where we are currently has a Jojo tank, and many of the residents telling us that they do not have running water. There are some villages here that have not had running water for over 3 years, and they're telling us that they rely on water from boreholes, and also they have to buy some of the water from the trucks that have started selling water because of these issues that that have been around here for this particular municipality here. But I just want to show you those Jojo tanks, Praten, just to see here behind me. You can see there are quite a number of them, and we do understand that many of the residents are saying that they're relying on these Jojo tanks. There is no other plan to get running water. They say that their cries to get water to this particular place has fallen on deaf ears. We are here in one of the villages just outside Mahikeng, Majoma and Somai, and of course it's the same story that we've heard from the previous village that you visited, which is Lumanyaneng, where they told us that also there the issue of water is quite an issue there, and residents there are also struggling, they're suffering, and they also have to buy water from water traders in the area. But joining me now to speak further is one of the people that actually works in trading water, Praten, at Tsepo Kuichi. Thank you for your time, Tsepo. Let's start here. You are one of the people that has decided to sell water to this community. Tell me about the water issues here in this community.
Yeah, I decided to sell water because I realized people are struggling with water. That is why I decided to start helping them with my truck.
Okay. So how much does it cost for a person to get a container of water, a person to get their Jojo tank filled?
A Jojo tank, it costs about 2.5 to 2,500 to get a tank to 2.5 liters. Yeah, it costs about 2,500.
Okay, so you're saying that a 2,500 liter of water will cost how much? I think you said earlier on it's 250.
Yeah, 2.5 liters. We sell it 250 rands. Yeah.
And how many of these do you sell per day? Is there huge demand from residents here who are desperate for water?
Yeah, the residents are desperate for water. They are struggling. There's no water. There's no running water here in Mahikeng. All over. We're selling water all over Mahikeng.
Okay. And in terms of where do you get it from, this water that you're selling to residents?
Yeah, there are people who have water. They bought the borehole. They have boreholes in their places, and then we get water from them. They sell us, and then we sell to the residents. Yeah. And
I mean, just speaking to some of the residents, I mean, surely they're frustrated about the situation. This means that they cannot have running toilets, they cannot have, geysers that they use. I mean, what are some of the frustrations that you hear from residents that you trade water to?
Yeah, the people here, the life is very difficult here in Mahikeng because they can't use the toilet. Some they don't have showers, so because of this problem of water. That is why they buy water from us, and some of the residents here, they have boreholes, and then the water the boreholes. Some boreholes they don't have enough water. You can even bore, but sometimes you have to buy water. This place doesn't have enough water. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tsepo, for sharing that with us. That was Tsepo Kuichi, who's one of the water traders here in the area, just sharing the difficulties that some of the residents have to face in this particular area. Of course, today it is a rainy day, and I've spoken to some residents, Praten, who are saying that they're actually relieved to see rain because that is the only reliable source of water that they're able to get on their Jojo tanks without having to pay any money for water. So many of the residents saying, of course, that they're not hopeful that these elections will bring about change in their water situation.
Thank you very much, Manqoba Mchunu, there in Mahikeng in the Northwest Province.